Jaya Radha Madhava Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Bihari Jana Vallabha Shivaradhana Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Shivaradhana Yashodanandana Bhajana Yashodanandana Bhajana Yamuna Tera Vanacha Jaya Radha Madhava Sundara Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Sundara Bihari This morning we will be reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam first canto, chapter 12, text 25. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Cheva Narottanam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jamudirayat Nastabesya Bhadresu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttamasloke Bhakti Bhavati Naistiki. Canto 1, Chapter 12, Birth of Emperor Parikshit, Text 25. Dritya Bali Sama Krishna Praradaiva Satkaha Ahartaiso Swamedhanam Vridanam Paryupasaka Tritya Bali Sama Krishna Paradaiva Satkaha Ahartesho Swamedhanam Vridanam Paryupasaka Tritya Bali Sama Krishna Paradaiva Satkaha Ahartasya Svamedanam Vridanam Parupasakam. Tritya Bali Sama Krishna Paradaiva Satyaha Ahartasya Svamedanam Vridanam Parupasakam. Tritya Bali Sama Krishna Paradaiva Satyaha Ahartasya Svamedanam Vridanam Parupasakam. Yes. Tritya Bali Sama Krishna Paradaiva Satyaha Ahartasya Svamedanam Vridanam Parupasakam. That's word for word translation. Dritya, by patience. Bali Samaha, like Bali Maharaj. Krishna, unto Lord Krishna. Prarada, Prahlad Maharaj. Eva, like Satya, devotee of Aharta, performer. Esa, this child. Ashvamedam, of Ashvamedha sacrifices. Vridanam, of the old and experienced man. Parupasaka, follower. Translation and purport by Abhay Charanavinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. This child will, like Bali Maharaj, impatience. So this child will be like Bali Maharaj, impatience. Astounds devotee of Lord Krishna like Prahlad Maharaj. A performer of many Ashvamedha horse sacrifices, and a follower of the old and experienced man. Please repeat. This child will be like Bali Maharaj. Impatience. Astounds devotee of Lord Krishna like Prahlad Maharaj. A performer of many Ashvamedha sacrifices. And a follower of the old and experienced man. Purport. Bali Maharaj, one of the 12 authorities in the devotional service of the Lord. Bali Maharaj is a great authority in devotional service because he sacrificed everything to please the Lord and relinquished the connection of his so-called spiritual master, who obstructed him on the path of risking everything for the service of the Lord. The highest perfection of religious life is to attain to the stage of unqualified devotional service to the Lord, without any cause or without being obstructed by any kind of worldly obligation. Bali Maharaj was determined to give up everything for the satisfaction of the Lord, and he did not care for any obstruction whatsoever. He is the grandson of Prahlad Maharaj, another authority in the devotional service of the Lord. Bali Maharaj and the history of his dealings with Vishnu, Vamandev, are described in the 8th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, chapters 18 to 23. Prahlad Maharaj, a perfect devotee of Lord Krishna, Vishnu, his father Hiranyakashipu chastised him severely when he was only 5 years old for his becoming an unalloyed devotee of the Lord. He was the first son of Hiranyakashipu, and his mother's name was Kayadu. Prahlad Maharaj was an authority in the devotional service of the Lord because he has his father killed by Lord Nrsingadev, setting the example that even a father should be removed from the path of devotional service if such a father happens to be an obstacle. He had 4 sons, and the eldest son, Virochan, is the father of Bali Maharaj mentioned above. The history of Prahlad Maharaj's activities is described in the 7th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Read the verse once again. Vidyabali sama Krishne parada eva satkraha artaiso svamedanam vividam payupashaka. The child will be like Bali Maharaj, impatient, a staunch devotee of Lord Krishna like Prahlad Maharaj, a performer of Asvamedha horse sacrifices, and a follower of the old and experienced man. Om Ajnana Timandasya Jananjana Shanakaya Shaksharan Militam Yena Tasmai Shigurave Namah. Chichitaya Manobishtam Staptam Yena Bhutaleshvam Rupakadamyam Dadati Svapadantikam. Vandeham Shigo Shiyuda Padakamalam Shigam Vaishnavam Sa Shirupam Jagachatam Sagan Ragnatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savdutam Parchana Saitam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Saganalita Shivshakam Vitam Shah He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabano Chatpate Gopesha Kopka Kanta Radhakanta Namastate Tapta Kanchna Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanu Sutadevi Pranamama Haripriya Pankha Kalptrabhisha Kripa Sindhuvisha Patnam Pavanabhyo Vaishnavyo Namo Namo Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Sati Gaura Bhakta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Vastaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Namini Namaste Saraswata Devi Gauravani Pacharani Nirvishesa Sunyavadi Paskachai Dasatani Srila Prabhupada Ki. So the speaking of the Bhagavatam starts factually in the 2nd canto, beginning of the 2nd canto. Sukadev Goswami will appear and speak the Bhagavatam. But this is a prelude to the speaking of the Bhagavatam, and the main personalities are presented, and especially Parikshit Maharaj, that Maharaj Parikshit was saved by Krishna in the womb of Uttara, that Krishna appeared in the womb to protect the embryo as Lord Vishnu, and Parikshit Maharaj saw him at that time, that whirling his club to protect him, and that although it is an impression from in the womb, he never forgot that during his life, and he was always searching where is that personality that I've seen in the womb? And I was always, is he there? Is he there? So Parikshit means observer. I was always observing what happened. That where is this Krishna that I saw in the womb? That by that he became a staunch devotee of Lord Krishna, is mentioned here. And Parikshit Maharaj, all his qualities are described here. All his qualities of a pure devotee, and that, and then later, Sukadev Goswami will be introduced. That Sukadev Goswami is also a pure devotee. They are both pure devotees. And Maharaj Parikshit, he takes the role of the hearer, and Sukadev Goswami of the speaker. But therefore it is said that these are examples of personalities, pure devotees who attain perfection. That Parikshit Maharaj attained perfection by hearing, and just by hearing, and Sukadev Goswami by speaking. That and here the child will be like Bali Maharaj, impatient. Bali Maharaj had to be very patient with Lord Vamandev, because this is an exciting pastime we find in the 8th canto of the Bhagavatam, chapter 18 till 23. And several times I presented it during the Bhaktivedanta course, these chapters, and they are very deep chapters, that so much to learn. That, but the most amazing thing is that Bali Maharaj is rejecting his spiritual master. That so obstacles, and in the purpose Srila Prabhupada speaks about obstacles of the path of devotional service. Even if your father is against devotional service, he should be removed, like Hiranyakasipu. Interesting that but of course the Sukacharya, he was the spiritual master of the demons, so-called spiritual master. Not much spiritual into it, but because he was an expert, he was a Brahman, a Paka Brahman, but he was expert in Karmakanda rituals. Karmakanda rituals are meant to, because what is this Karmakanda? That this Karmakanda is there for a particular reason, that all the souls who came from the spiritual world to the material world to enjoy, that Krishna said, okay, you come to enjoy, I give you the material world to enjoy, and I give you the manual. The manual is Karmakanda, how to enjoy. How to enjoy in a pious way and to enjoy more and more. That's what you want, you follow Karmakanda. So it has this function, but for devotees it's just useless. We are not interested in this material world. We want to get out of the material world. But anyway, he became the spiritual master of the demons, because demons, what do they want? They want enjoyment. So he's giving them enjoyment, but in a pious way. And therefore these demons, they are doing Guru Puja every day, like we do for Prabhupada. They did Guru Puja for Sukacharya, and they became empowered by it, that to realize these Karmakanda rituals. Because we have Karmakanda is a broad spectrum. We have different kinds of Karmakandis. They are not all the same. You have the Karma Mimamsas, Krishna speaking about that in his pastime before lifting the Govardhan. But Karmakanda means, yes, mostly Karmakanda, what is here described by Sukracharya, is meant to bring one to the heavenly planets. The Karmakanda rituals, sacrifices, especially Jahyas, to bring one to the heavenly planets. And that, of course, it's materialistic. That we see also in the 10th canto of the Bhagavatam, the ritualistic brahmanas, that these ritualistic brahmins were also doing this Karmakanda rituals. And this Karmakanda rituals, they have to be done perfectly. That there's so many technical details, and you make one error, you don't get a result. So this ritualistic Brahmins were really concentrated on all these technical details, and then this Krishna had sent the cowherd boys to ask for food. that Krishna and Balaram, on behalf of Krishna and Balaram, they were asking food to the Brahmins, and they even did not see them. That they didn't react. Just they want to be concentrated on their rituals. So this rightly done. And Sukracharya was expert in it. He knew all the technical details of the rituals. That and he engaged the demons into that with the purpose that they would be able to go to heaven. But to go to heaven, you must be qualified. You must have divine qualities. They are described in the Bhagavatam 16:1-3. That, but they didn't have these qualities. But because they were worshipping Sukracharya, they got the power to go to the heavenly planets. Amazing. That we should also remember that every day we do Guru Puja. This Guru Puja is not just a ritual. It's a begging for mercy to Prabhupada. So it's best never to miss Guru Puja. You can miss any part of the morning program, better not. But if you miss, don't miss that part. That's a begging to the mercy, and that's where the empowerment comes from. That in our movement, the empowerment comes to Prabhupada. Prabhupada, to our spiritual master. That, and at the same time, in heaven, there we had Indra. Our Indra is a post, but his name is Purandar. Our Indra is Purandar. The name of the next Indra in the next Manu period will be Bali Maharaj. It's mentioned that he will get that post. Why will he get that post? Because he desired to be Indra, but he could not become Indra in this period of Manu. Because in this Manu period, it is Purandar who was appointed by the Supreme Personality of God. That's interesting. So they were doing these sacrifices, and of course, it's in the Bhagavatam, they were able to conquer the heavenly planets. These demons got entrance to the heavenly planets. But then Sukracharya said because all the demigods had to flee, and Purandara Indra, Shishikau Nitai Ki. Purandara Indra was asking he was asking Brihaspati, his spiritual master, what should we do now? All these demons are here. And Brihaspati said, it's a bad time now. The direction of time is in the favor of the demons. So you have to wait. But soon the direction will change, because he knew that Vamandev would come. But they are in the heavenly planets. And then Sukracharya says to Bali Maharaj, now you are in the heavenly planets, but to stay here you must become qualified. How do you become qualified to become Indra in the heavenly planets? Performing 100 Ashvamedha yajnas, Ashvamedha sacrifices, which are very expensive and very difficult to do. But he did them, but at the 100th yajna, then Vamandev appeared. Vamandev appeared from the womb of Diti in the form of a dwarf brahmachari, very beautiful. When he appeared, demigods came to give him so many gifts. But then that Ashvamedha yajna is an elaborate yajna, and it's in different parts. And at a certain part, near to the end, charity must be given to Brahmins and brahmacharis. And at that moment, Vamandev appeared. and Bali Maharaj says to Vamandev that, please, you come at the right moment, ask some charity. And first, Vamandev said, yeah, I don't need anything, I'm satisfied. He said, yes. The Bali Maharaj said, no, give some charity. I want to give you some charity, please. And Vamandev said, I only want 3 steps of land. 3 steps of land. And Bali Maharaj said, it seems you are not very intelligent. I'm the Lord of the entire universe. I can give you an entire planet. So why are you asking so little? And Vamandev said, one who is not satisfied with a little will also not be satisfied with a lot. It will never give you satisfaction. But then Sukracharya said, you should not give him anything. He's Lord Vishnu. He will take everything away from you. And when Prabhupada was there, devotees performed the drama of that lila. And in that drama, Bali Maharaj replies, oh, you are telling me not to give to Vishnu? Before you have always taught me that the goal is to please Vishnu, and now he's here, and you say I cannot give to him? And Bali Maharaj said, no, I don't want a spiritual master like you. I reject you. And that is what they did. His spiritual master, he said, Prabhupada writes here in the purport, he relinquished the connection with his spiritual master. He rejected his spiritual master. Because its spiritual master, Sukracharya, tried to convince him in so many ways. Because he was thinking, if he gives everything to Vishnu, how am I going to live? So he cursed him that he would lose everything. And that was where Vamandev was waiting for. Because he could not interfere with the Brahmins. if you have if you have the favors of the Brahmins, the Lord cannot interfere. Interesting. So he was waiting till he was cursed, and then he could take everything. And then he arrested Bali Maharaj. And that is also mentioned in this verse. It was a lot of patience, that he was dishonored, he was arrested by the ropes of Varuna, I think, that Vasuki, ropes of Vasuki, bound up, that he lost everything. The prediction was true of Sukracharya. He had to lose everything. That of course, then Vamandev is taking his 3 steps. That's another story. First step, the whole earth. The second, and the whole universe. And he makes a hole in the universe where the spiritual, where the Ganges comes in, the spiritual river from the Viracha river. And that it's the water of the Viracha river, which is the border between the material and the spiritual worlds. That's actually the Ganga water. But then it came down. It's an amazing pastime, because Brahma is in Satyaloka. And suddenly, Vamandev takes his second step, and from Satyaloka he sees this big feet coming. and he calls all the demigods in Satyaloka, and he starts to do puja and abhishek for the feet of Vamandev. Interesting that. But there are many other details in this pastime. It's an amazing pastime. But it shows that finally, Bali Maharaj, by surrendering everything to the Lord, he became a Marjan. 12 Marjans we are following. And Bali is one of them, also Prahlad Maharaj. That we see that when Diti was aware that in her womb were 2 demons who were going to take birth, Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha. She prayed for the mercy of the Lord, and the Lord said, your son will be a big demon, but your grandson will be a pure devotee. Interesting is that the grandson of Prahlad Maharaj is Bali Maharaj. It's also a pure devotee. So I think always that is our hope, because Srila Prabhupada has his disciples, but the father is more inclined to his grandchildren. And I think always that's our hope, that we will get mercy of Srila Prabhupada. So we see that here also, that Bali Maharaj becomes one of the 12 authorities, and he becomes famous for rejecting his so-called spiritual master. But it shows obstacles of devotional service have to be removed. The Lord removes them finally. But I was always thinking about, when I read this, about these obstacles being removed, I was thinking of Srila Prabhupada at Jew Beach, that the Jew property, the fight of Mr. Nair, that was very intensely, that it went on for a long time, and Mr. Nair wanted to cheat Prabhupada and the devotees. It went to court, and this Mr. Nair used all his power, and the police came to get us from their land. There's so many things, and protests. he got people to protest against us, so many naughty things. But then at a certain moment, Mr. Nair got a heart attack and passed away. And Srila Prabhupada said, yes, we had a good fight. I prayed to Lord Nrsingadev to remove him. That's quite, that's interesting.
Very bold
And
to say
and he,
that on a large platform.
and he was removed. That's somewhere in the diaries of one of the servants of Prabhupada that he said that he prayed for the obstacle to be removed. I'm not saying that he was praying to that he would be killed, but he was removed by the Lord anyway. But yes, that happens. Krishna removes obstacles. I remember the devotees were, it was in the 70s, the first disciples in Germany. They were doing Harinam, chanting the whole names of Krishna on the streets in Hamburg. And Hamburg, yeah, it's a harbor city. But it was close to the prostitution houses where they were chanting. And they were doing Harinam. And out of these prostitution houses came a giant of a man. And he was drunken. And he started to shout towards the devotee, and he ran towards them to attack them. And the devotees were chanting, and they started to chant, Namaste Narasimhaya. And when the man came up a few meters before the devotees, he got a heart attack and fell down. That was, yeah. So Krishna removes those who are too too inimical to us devotees. That we've seen that many times. That is just, it's not just a question of the Lord acting in that way. Why does he act in that way? Because if one, it's just a result of their own actions. If one offends a devotee, one loses all one's piety. It's all gone. That all one's good activities are gone when you offend a devotee. And many times people's lives are shortened. That I remember always, I was not here, but it was Mahavishnu Goswami. He was my Vakta Pradarshaka guru. He was an old, an old Gujarati Swami. He was from Gujarat, he was from Rajkot, Gujarat. That Mahavishnu Goswami. And once he came to America on a tour here. This must be in the beginning of the 90s. Because he passed away 15 years ago, or longer. But during his tour here, he gave a lecture, and a man became very inimical towards him, and blasphemed him in so many ways. And the next day, this man died. Interesting. That I remember that always. If you offend a pure devotee, it's finished. Also, with devotees, it's very, very important. It's the first offense against the holy name. To offend devotees is very dangerous. Anyway, this is Bali Maharaj, and then Prabhupada speaks in the purport of Prahlad Maharaj. That so we have here, yeah, he writes here, yes. Lord Nrsingadev setting the example that even a father should be removed from the path of devotional service if such a father happens to be an obstacle. Of course, Prahlad Maharaj did not want his father to be killed. That, he wanted the best for his father, because after this after his father was killed, Lord Nrsingadev wanted to give him benedictions. That Lord Nrsingadev said, you can ask me whatever you want, I will give it. And what is the answer of Prahlad Maharaj? He said, you know, my Lord, I've been born in a family of demons, and demons are not really inclined to sense gratification. Please don't entice me with that proposal. I'm not a Varnik. A Varnik is a businessman who wants to, I don't want to have to I don't do my service to get something back from you. I only serve you of love. But still he asked 2 benedictions of Lord Nrsingadev. And the first benediction he asked is that, that please give me the blessings that I can always serve my spiritual master. That it is by the mercy of my spiritual master that I have been put on this path of devotional service, and my only desire is to serve him. So Prahlad Maharaj, he immediately he remembered the etiquette. I cannot serve the Lord directly. I serve to my spiritual master. So he's asking blessings to serve his spiritual master. Nice. And the second blessing he asked is, please grant my father liberation. That was so. He was a great well-wisher of his father, of every living entity, factually, and that is Prahlad Maharaj. That, but Nrsingadev said yes already, because you are a pure devotee. 21 generations of your family will be liberated. So it means that Bali Maharaj was also predicted to be liberated. 21 generations. That's not. I think Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj said, yes, that's for an Uttam Adhikar. If you are a Madhyam Adhikar, he said something, I don't remember, 10 generations or so, but he said, if you are even a Kanishta Adhikar, 3 generations. That was interesting comment of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj. These are that, but we see that Bali Maharaj, he has the blessings of Prahlad Maharaj, that he would perform these Ashvamedha sacrifices. The Vedic kings did all these Ashvamedha sacrifices. And we know Yudhishthira Maharaj did also the Rajasuya sacrifice. It was a very big sacrifice. These are the Vedic sacrifices. They are building, maybe it takes a month just to build the Jagya Kund, and they have 4 priests. Each priest is expert in one of the Vedas, Yajur Veda, Rig Veda, Atharva Veda, and Sama Veda. And then you have the the Brahma priest, he knows all four, and his function is to correct things when things are going wrong, and they use only golden plates and so on, and therefore he needed a lot of gold, but there was not sufficient gold, and but then Arjun was sent to the Himalayas, where before sacrifices were held by Vedic kings, and and these golden plates would be used only once and throw away. There was a lot of gold there, and that therefore Arjun was sent to that place, and therefore his name became also Dhananjaya, the one who was able to conquer wealth, to get wealth, Dhananjaya. But he performed this Ashwamedha Shakyas also, Yudhishthira Maharaj, and also, yeah, Bali Maharaj will do them. And a follower of old and experienced man. That's the dharma of a kshatriya. A kshatriya works always under the Brahmins, always obedient to the Brahmins. That's a very important quality of a kshatriya. They were even afraid of the Brahmins because Brahmins were very powerful in that time. They could curse them, and therefore they were very respectful to the Brahmins. And this is part of the Varna ashram, because and that's explained in the 7th canto. In the 7th canto, the first 10 chapters are about the story of Prahlad Maharaj, Nrsingadev. Prahlad Maharaj is following Bhagavad Dharma, devotional service. But then, after hearing that story, Yudhishthira Maharaj wants to know what are my duties. How can I organize society in such a way which is conducive for this Bhagavad Dharma? And then he speaks about the 4 orders of life and the 4 ashrams, the Varna ashram, and he explains all the duties of the Brahmins, the Kshatriyas, the Vaishyas, the Sudras, and also for each order, each stage of life, that the Brahmachari, the Grihastha, Vanaprastha, Sannyas, because that is this Varna ashram is very important. It creates a peaceful society. American society is nice, but it's a society of anxiety, so much anxiety that you have to comply with so many rules, regulations, and so many difficulties that's because you have to work hard to pay for your house, to pay for the cars. You become a slave of all these things and no time for spiritual life. It's all anxiety. But here, that's the opposite. Is a follower of old and experienced man. That shows he followed this Varna ashram. That he is a Kshatriya, Parikshit Maharaj. That and he will maintain dharma. Dharma means the varnashram, that everyone does one's duty according to one's varna and ashram. That was his duty, and he was following the Brahmins, because varnashram is a peaceful society, and it's a perfect society, because nobody has to be worried about his education. The Brahmins give free education. The Kshatriyas would protect everyone. No way about protection. The Vaishyas would feed everyone. No problem about getting your food. And the Sudras would help all the others. It's it doesn't matter in what category you are. Everyone cooperates to make a peaceful society and to go through these ashrams. Ashram means for spiritual life, and that is Bali Maharaj. He was really taking care of that. Parikshit Maharaj. He had the strength of the Pandavas, that he had the wisdom of Yudhishthira Maharaj, that and he was a strict follower of the Vedic system. And we also try to create that within our movement. At least we follow the ashrams. That the Varnas, that's something else. But it's important to create, because Kali Yuga will go forwards, and you try to just buying food. It's all poisoned. It's not good. There's so many diseases come up, that all this processed food creates cancer and all these things. People are even not aware of that. They think that's normal, but it's a cause of so many troubles. So to have our own cows, our own land, and so on in the future become more and more important. So these are a few words I could say on this first. Any comments, corrections?
Do you think it's possible for us to have any kind of like more substantial Varnashram Dharma system in ISKCON, or like through ISKCON in some way in Kali Yuga? Is it even possible?
We have examples of the Eco Village where we are doing that. We are doing that also in Hungary. I was in the past many times in Hungary. It's very nice. In the houses there is no electricity, no internet, all these things are not there. That they have these Hungarian stoves with ceramic tiles at 4, and it's in the middle of the house, and there is one wall of the stove in each room. So the whole house down is, and also upstairs, it's nice. And they are heating with wood. They have their own forest where they get wood from. They have their own cows. And mostly 80% of the vegetables are coming from their own gardens. And in the morning you go to the temple and come in the temple, and it's made that the roof is like a greenhouse. It's out of glass, and from the moment the sun comes up, it's full of light. And in the night and during Mangalarti, they are heating. The light comes all from giviks, many places. And it's so peaceful. You live in a house. In this house, you have electricity and so on. There's no electricity that makes you feel that's very peaceful.
I mean, right now,
Yeah.
kind of the background, but I hear all the fridges,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
all these small electrical things that
Yeah.
require power. I noticed on the days when we had no power and we were down here, we're just doing Mangalarti, it was very, very peaceful. I
Yeah.
felt like those mornings were very nice to have Mangalarti with no other sounds whatsoever. Couldn't hear anything whatsoever.
Yeah, but that's the thing is, what I want to say is that we are doing it already in some places. Why not expanding it? But the problem is devotees, it's hard work, and they don't want to work hard. And therefore it's not going. But there it's going, everyone has his function and is specialized in something. It's also the cows. It's very nice. It's like a palace for the cows. It's so beautiful, beautiful. That and they have milk from their own cows. So nice. Right, that's what I could say.
New Vietnam,
New Vietnam.
no electricity.
No, they have only an office building which is 800 meters from the village. That at the entrance, and there is electricity with computers and communication and so on, and so on. That was when I was there last time, which is 15 years ago. I don't know what happened now, but I
And
don't.
no internet, no
Hmm?
phones,
Hmm?
no telephones, no mobile phones.
Mobile phones they could have mobile phones. Yeah.
So then how is it charged?
That usually they charge it at the office, and some may have some they call it sun panels,
The solar panels.
solar panels. Yeah, yeah. That there are a few that. But
I was thinking Bali Maharaj is a Mahajan.
Yeah.
Then why does he want to become Indra? Again, it's like so many ages of
yeah, but he was the king of the demons, and they agreed to become Indra on their behalf. That was the plan. They would take over. But of course, this plan could not go because the demons were there on the strength of Sukacharya, but they could not stay there. They could not dare to become qualified. You have to go to become qualified to go. That, but yes, that. But of course, he may have become purified afterwards, because that's what Prahlad Maharaj also said. Prahlad Maharaj in the seventh canto is saying that I'm afraid from the material condition of life, because by my previous karma, I've been put in the association of demons. So it's lamenting. I have this association of demons, and that's very dangerous. And he's the chief of the demons. But yeah, that he wanted to please them and follow Sukracharya and bring them to heaven, but it didn't go. But yeah, it's a Marjan. Factually, it's a pastime. And there are so many factors to consider. And I don't know all these aspects, but one thing is sure: he wanted to become Indra, and he was a pure devotee engaged in devotional service. We have to be careful with our desires, also when we chant, that because it may delay our going back to Godhead. The same thing was there with the other case, Dhruva Maharaj. Dhruva Maharaj wanted to rule the whole universe. He wanted to have the whole universe, like his great grandfather. And if Brahma, he wanted even more. But then he became a pure devotee. The Lord touched him, his head with his conch, and said, "I don't want it anymore. It's now you gave me a diamond devotional service. That wanting to rule the universe is like broken glass. I don't want it anymore." And then Krishna Garbha Vishnu said, "Oh, Dhruva, I want first that you rule the universe for 36,000 years. Of course, that was Satya Yuga. They were living 100,000 years, but 36,000 years. And then it could go back to Godhead. So it delayed his going back to Godhead, that desire. Although it didn't want it anymore. And I think Bali Maharaj is the same. He wanted to please the demon, but then later he said, yeah, what's the use? But still he desired it. And Krishna fulfilled his desires of his pure devotees. So in the next Manvantara he will become Bali Maharaj. But finally, that for a devotee, and that is what Chitraketu says to Parvati, what Lord Shiva says to Parvati after Chitraketu has been cursed, that these pure devotees of Krishna, whether they are in hell or heaven, is the same for them. They are always engaged in devotional service and always blissful. So for them, it doesn't matter. Good. Thank you very much.
Yeah, any questions on Zoom? Any last second? Anyone even still is in Zoom with us? 10 people?
Stop shift on it now.
Yeah. Any questions on Zoom?
No question. Thank you so much, Maharaj, for giving us the pointers on devotional service.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Sai
Thank you
Prabhupada.
so much.
Hare Krishna.